show, everybody. Today we will be looking at the Arturia DrumBrute. Released in 2016, the DrumBrute was released in a time when true analog drum machines were making a comeback. This is the very first time Arturia released an analog drum machine, as they previously released a controller drum machine called Spark in 2011, which was hardware that integrated with the Spark software. The DrumBrute was soon succeeded by the Arturia DrumBrute Impact, featuring 17 pure analog sounds, Arturia's signature step sequencer, individual outs, MIDI, clock sync, USB, the infamous zap sound, and more. So we want to find a pattern, and we want to press erase, pattern, and there you go. And so you got nothing here. So what we want really then is maybe we'll want to create a bit of variation. So let's go to Shift 4. And always remember, save your work by holding save and pattern. As usual here, we want to make sure our recording device is set to the interface and then record the zap sound. Now, to be honest with you guys, I've never tried anything like this myself, so my earliest experimentation with trying to create an instrument sound was sampling part of the zap sound that we recorded, and I tried to slow down the tempo. I threw the sample into a tracker software called OpenMPT, and of course, because this was the very first attempt at creating a basic waveform out of a short sample of the zap sound, I was not impressed with how this turned out in the end. So I made another attempt where I actually tried to get a good section of what appears to be basic waveform, as you saw there, and I imported that into OpenMPT, and I was much more impressed with this result. So what do we want to be doing then now that we have started making use of OpenMPT, a tracker software? Well, what we need to do with this hardware drum machine is to be taking notes of what our BPM is. Take note that the tempo says 120 beats per minute, so this should sound like. So what if we take it down maybe to 100? And so we start recording the drums, export it, and load it into OpenMPT. When working with something like DrumBrute, you'll want the tempo on OpenMPT set to 100 beats per minute, and you'll want the rotics set to 6. From here I pretty much started to create a bass line. I went back to my wave sound that I created with the zap sound, and I decided to fade it out at the end to create like a stab type sound. I was able to create a chord sound through FL Studio with it, but then I also realised that lowering the octaves for the note on its own actually would make it double as a bass type sound. So I replaced the bass sound that I was originally using. With the initial attempt at creating a wave sound that I wasn't impressed with, I actually used that as a sound effect. Of course, with these compositions, it would be nice to add a bit of variation, like creating some different sections. And now we have all that know-how, it's crunch time. For a budget drum machine, the DrumBrute can be used to sequence other gear, although via the individual outs. And for the fact it has individual outs, it makes it seem like a much more expensive drum machine than it actually is. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like, subscribe, support me on Ko-Fi, and I'll see you in the next video.